Thanksgiving is usually all about the food, but for those dealing with disordered eating, the holiday can be tricky. However, there are some steps that family and friends can take to make it easier. Joining me now is Dr. Natalie Gentile with Direct Care Physicians of Pittsburgh to talk about how you can support someone in recovery. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks again for having me.
What a great topic, and kind of eye-opening too. It may not be something that everyone's thinking about. So let's start first though with what disordered eating is.
This is my favorite topic. Okay, so
Yep.
just get set, buckle up.
Okay.
So disordered eating is something that I think so many of us deal with. It's become kind of the norm, but we don't really know what to call it. And it's really this all or none mentality, this relationship with food that can end up in disordered behaviors. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's social relationships, and it can make you at sometimes even ill. It's changing these patterns of the way we eat so that it's not kind of in a healthy manner anymore.
So for a long time we heard about anorexia and bulimia, but there's so many more layers to what disordered eating can look like.
Certainly. So when I teach the med students about this, for example, I pop up a table and we've got disordered eating and we've got eating disorders. You can trickle over into an eating disorder pretty easily.
Right.
Unfortunately, eating disorders, anorexia, binge eating disorder, for example, have actual psychiatric criteria that you need to meet. I think a lot of times we picture certain body types with these disorders.
Right.
But disordered eating is more of a generalized term that, it doesn't necessarily have to have all of those bad physiologic consequences yet, but soon could become that problem.
So this could be anything from overwatching what you eat, so calorie counting to the extreme.
Yes.
Or on the other side, maybe it's exercise, your relationship with exercise. And we've seen some of these videos that are very disturbing where it's you need to run 3 miles to burn off that one slice of pie or whatever it might be.
Yeah, using exercise as punishment, essentially.
Yeah.
And we shame ourselves, especially around these holidays where they're very focused around eating, and we feel this urgent need to make up for the things that we've consumed.
So is this something that if you know that you're suffering from this, you should speak openly with your family and friends about?
So one reason why I think this is such a favorite topic of mine is because it's so prevalent at these holiday affairs where everybody feels the right to give unsolicited commentary about your body and about what you're choosing to eat. Are you sure you want that second helping?
Right.
Oh, you look really healthy. Did you lose weight?
You've lost a lot of weight. Why don't we load up? You need to eat a little bit more, even that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I mean, no offense, but that's not your business. That's not your place,
Right.
And so if we can ratchet it back and have some commentary back like, thank you for your concern, but I'm fine, and walk away. If we can start to be more open about, hey, I don't need that commentary about my food intake or my body. Let's change topics. It's just a tired and boring conversation at this time.
And that's why you say avoid food judgment, plain and simple, at the holidays.
Yes.
Or any time, period.
I mean, this one holiday, 2 parties is not going to make or break the rest of your 360 some days of the year, right? And your health trajectory. So avoiding that food judgment, avoiding that shaming and all or none mentality is going to be helpful.
So what about you as a person, if you are suffering from disordered eating, how do you, because it's obviously a process to break yourself from that. How do you deal with the holidays when there's a lot of food and mentally you're struggling with how you're going to handle this?
Yeah, so you always have the right to say no, to go to a party, to be involved in a place that you know is going to be triggering or really affect you mentally. So first and foremost, you have that power and right. Second of all, I think it's really nice to have an ally or a friend or a family member that knows what you're struggling with and can kind of have different conversation topics than around your eating and body,
Yeah, right.
And can be there for you to kind of shuffle you away if you don't feel that you can advocate for yourself in those situations.
It's great advice. And so do you think, is there a way to get help in this process? Because as you mentioned, there are these 2 categories, an eating disorder, disordered eating. But if you're in this disordered eating category, what kind of help is out there for you to get through this?
Not a lot on social media,
Right.
Probably just the opposite. I think if you're looking on social media, looking for things that are anti-diet culture, and this kind of like anti-weight stigma, those are great places to look for supportive people out there. But bring it up with your doctor. Talk about your eating patterns. It's not common in the healthcare field right now that we have people who are fully aware and literate in this kind of conversation,
Right.
But we are out there.
Yeah, and you do exist, and I'm so glad that you love this topic so much. I want to go back to exercise because I do think after we wake up, maybe we've had too much to eat that next day, we start to, again, punish ourselves with exercise to make up for it. What are some triggers that you should recognize in yourself that you're on this pattern?
Yeah, if you are using it as punishment, I ate X, so I need to do Y amount of exercise to make up for it, right? The next morning when I wake up and shocker, I'm bloated because I had a big meal, Thanksgiving.
Right.
Like, of course you are. Go take a walk,
Just take a walk.
gentle walk. It doesn't have to be all or none. It doesn't have to be hardcore for 2 hours. You know, this mentality where you're doing movement that you don't even like, that doesn't even resonate with you.
Yeah.
Those are kind of some signs that you need to be looking at that would say it's probably not appropriate exercise.
All right, good things to keep in mind this holiday season. And I'm so glad we're having these conversations because it is so pervasive.
Yes.
So pervasive. If you're interested in learning more about direct care physicians of Pittsburgh or Rebel Wellness, we'll have links on our website. And Dr. Gentile, happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
to you.
Thanksgiving.
Coming up on Talk Pittsburgh, we are ditching the alcohol and trying a special holiday mocktail as we learn how 2 local groups are supporting sobriety this season.